Things starting to break loose. New updates on the war. We'll go back over some of that stuff as we get going this hour, too. Alabama Gold Refinery bringing you the show. Y'all know all about AGR if you've been listening for any length of time. It's just a really special place. There were times in my life when I might have had some scrap, didn't know where to take it. You take it around to sort of other shops and pawn shops or stuff like that, you're not going to get a fair price, especially if you're desperate and they know that. AGR is a gold exchange. It's a precious metals exchange. They deal fairly, and it's a secure environment in the central location of Homewood. So easy to park right in front of the door and get in and out with all their security features. And once you get to know Steve, you've got a place you can go now to sell, to buy, to exchange, to trade, whatever you want to do, whatever you're in the market to do. They are there to help you at AGR. Steve's a great guy. He's a wealth of knowledge. And if you had invested a few years ago, your portfolio would be huge. Just a few ounces of gold today would be worth thousands, and you could have gotten it for just a fraction of that. Gold tends to track against everything going on in the world because it's real, it's tangible, it's got eternal value, it's fungible. You can always sell it and trade it. Y'all go see them and make them your shop, even if you're just curious and want to go by there and see some of the cool things they've been in. By the way, percentage-wise, silver has had an even better run of late. Gold closed today, I think 51.85 or something like that. Still above 5,000. Looks like it's going to hold there. So let that be your place to go. Right across from the Regions Bank in Homewood on 29th, AGR Alabama Gold Refinery. Okay, so we've had some developments this afternoon. Let's start with this. The Senate just voted down the war powers resolution that the Democrats had brought. Now, this had already been crafted before the breakout of hostilities on Saturday. They were trying to limit Trump's ability ahead of the actual shooting that happened in Iran. And of course, it failed. Believe it or not, Lisa Murkowski, who can waffle with the best of them, decided she would vote against it as well. The War Powers Act, I think it was passed in 1973. Every president since then, and this was a post-Vietnam era piece of legislation that sought to force the president to come before any decisive military action. Now, I think it was Senator Kennedy today. It's a quote I'm going to steal and start using. I'm probably going to mangle it, but it was so spot on. He goes, some people want to be Socrates while we're in the middle of a bar fight. Okay. So you've got people philosophically, and I've got friends to the right of center right now that have been, as I have come around, that we're finally seeing the fallacy that was the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war. And we all know how Vietnam became a quagmire. You don't want presidents getting into things that are not retractable or don't have an exit strategy or a clear mission. I don't see this situation as anything like that. This country has been a threat to us directly and the rest of the world for 47 years. Bribing them, talking to them, negotiating with them, ignoring them has not worked. And they had gotten more dangerous than they had ever been, and it was time. It was time for a lot of reasons, not only the clock that was ticking on their ability to produce 11, we believe potentially 11 deployable nuclear bombs, but the people were in the streets being slaughtered trying to get their country back. The humanitarian side of this alone is compelling enough to me for us to uniquely do what we can uniquely do, and that's what we've done, which is absolutely punish that administration and take away its threat to the world. We've taken away their Navy. We've taken away their air surveillance systems, their anti-aircraft batteries. They've still got a few missiles. They still got drones, and some of those will get out. For days, they'll get out, and every time one launches, we smoke them within seconds. It's stunning, our capabilities. We've also exposed the Chinese and the Russians for having weapon systems that are dysfunctional, which also puts us on a stronger footing with those countries if they decide they want to get froggy. The Chinese stuff looks absolutely like paper tiger, like people got hoodwinked by buying these systems. So a lot of good has come of this, in addition to the fact that these people may be free. No matter what they try to do to institute the War Powers Act, every president since it was passed has held it to be unconstitutional, even though we've not had definitive cases. Congress did pass it, but its requirements are weak. And sometimes in a certain situation, you've got to take direct action. You can't have 535 commanders in chief, you got to have one. And that's how our system works. And that's how you can make quick response to situations around the world when we have to. When the Trump team had a plan that so far, I'm not going to use the word flawless, but it has really been impressive. It's going ahead of schedule. It's been lethal. It's been ultra effective. And the rest of the world's coming along. Even Spain today got in on it. And then this development, which could be the most encouraging thing so far, is that thousands of Kurdish fighters have just invaded Iran, and they're going to be the ground component in this situation. The division of responsibility is amazing and appropriate considering the situation we find ourselves in. And let me see if I can describe that. The United States, in addition to providing really a defense shield in the region, we're shooting down missiles and drones all over the place with our ships and our forward bases. We have part of our military is doing that defensive operation, protecting Iran's neighbors and, of course, Israel. And then another part is completely, as they said today in the news briefing, we are defanging the Iranians and taking away their threat on the ground to their own people and to their neighbors with their missiles. And, of course, Israel, who they want to exterminate, and by proxy, us and everybody else that they've threatened for all these years. Their ability to threaten is at an end. And so with each hour that passes, that diminishes. The statistics are stunning as to the effort we put in and how effective it's been. It hasn't been completely without loss. We've lost 6 of our military members, some in support roles on the ground that got hit by these lobs of missiles. But now you got the Kurdish fighters moving in. For the last 5 days since this started, you've got a lot of questions from the media going, how do we do this without boots on the ground? We had leaders in the Gang of 8 that came out and said, I'm nervous that we have to have boots on the ground. There's no way to do this without boots on the ground. And that's logical. I actually understood their argument. Wisely, the Trump administration knew you're not going to tell the world you're not going to do that you're not going to commit to that. That weakens you. We've had other presidents play that game. That's cowardly. You don't take anything off the table when you're fighting an enemy. But secondly, if you have a plan, and this didn't happen overnight, the Kurdish are fierce fighters. Even their women can fight better than a lot of men in this world. It's amazing. Read their history. Go study the Kurds. They're the people that Saddam Hussein gassed. Now, the Kurds introduce a weird factor with Turkey. Turkey's a NATO ally, and they've got a rivalry with the Turkish Kurds. And then we get into situations. There's so many, I don't want to say tribal, but there are different sects and people groups within these country boundaries that make up that region that all have their ancient beefs and rivalries that come to play sometimes in these national skirmishes. So that could cause us trouble with the Turks getting involved, if at all. Some missile components fell into Turkey today too, which, being a NATO ally, and I say that with air quotes if you're watching online, that's kind of a stretch. Turkey's a weird nation that way, but you don't want them opposing us, and we need their airspace for some of these operations as well. But with the Kurds going in, they're going to recoil. You can watch some statements come from them over that. But the Kurds may be the best people to go in and organize and supply the ground operation it takes to door-to-door weed out some of the IRGC operatives. Let me see if I can put that into plain English. The IRGC is similar to sort of a national police force. They're not really the military, but they do all the punishing of the protesters. They're the ones that knock on your door in the middle of the night because you may have said something inappropriate and drag you down to a prison and beat you and kill you, or flog your wife for not wearing her burqa correctly. These are the morality police that go around that nation. If you're being accused of being a homosexual, they're the ones that throw you off the building. They are all over that country by the thousands in the employ of the government, and they're harder to bomb because they're meshed in the civilian population. A lot of the civilians that have been fighting against their own government to overthrow them, they know who they are, but they're not armed and don't have the weaponry or the skill set, to be honest with you, to fight back. The Iranian people are smart, educated, and skillful, but they're not war fighters like this. The Kurds bring that to the table without American troops on the ground and can probably move very quickly now that the skies are clear and the Iranian central threat is down. They can move into that theater, get into Tehran, and cause havoc for that administration. This may be the death blow. And again, it was planned all along. This was the smart play. Let people from the region sort this stuff out. Not only that, there's a big Kurdish, I say big, I don't know the percentage. I think the Persians represent 65% of the country, but the Kurds are also Iranians. There are some Iranians that trace their lineage to the Kurds or Kurdistan or whatever you want to call them. And so rather than get too deep into the complexity of it, this is a move that we believe the people on the ground near Tehran will accept. They'll accept these Kurdish fighters as being on the same side. A lot of them speak the same language. They're from similar cultures. They can assimilate into that country and begin organizing not just protests, but real effective missions to make some of those IRCG, GC members take off their uniforms and join the right side. And that's what you want. That's when the whole thing collapses. Their will to fight back is about to collapse. They have no ability to at this point. If there's a ground operation to go along with what we've done from the air, this is just brilliant. And I've got a lot of faith in them, watching how they have fought and behaved over the years in different situations. These Kurdish fighters mean business, and that's a huge development on the ground today. And it answers that question that the Trump administration wisely would not answer to the media or even some members of Congress, that the Kurd plan could be the start of the ground game. And again, 5 days in, my heart tells me they're ahead of schedule on that. I think they thought they had a timeline of about 4 weeks of aerial bombing just to decapitate and take out the mullahs. That happened in hours. And every other group that steps up, they're being taken out. That's the Israelis' role. While we're taking out infrastructure, the Israelis are taking out the personnel. They've lost communications, direction, leadership, message. And now we got a ground game with the Kurds. This is a huge development. It's hard to overestimate. It was anticipated by a lot of people that it would have been in the news that this was building, but it happened fast. This is a blitz, man, and I'm here for it. We'll continue to watch it. I just saw this come across. AJ, I don't know what you think of this, but Lou Holtz has now passed away.
No, not Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz.
Man.
89. I liked him, always liked him.
Yeah.
I liked his story about how his wife got sick and he gave up coaching and he, took that job in South Carolina because of his family situation. I enjoyed him on television. I know people lampooned the way he talked and that he got old on TV. God bless that man. 89 years old, Lou Holtz just passing away. Saw that.
I ain't gonna lie, I used to like watching him on television. And I didn't really too much mind how he talked, but I mean, people gonna criticize how anybody talks, but I thought he was entertaining.
I did too. I thought he had something to add. The guy had real experience, and I know my friend Reese Davis was real close to him. That's a sad story, but what a life. I mean, if I knew I could live to 89 and leave a mark like that, I'd take it. I'd take it in a minute.
Yeah.
Lou Holtz, born in 1937, just passed away at 89 years old. Another headline this afternoon in an afternoon full of headlines. All right, Kyle and Jim, I see both of y'all over there, but I'm right at the break. Had to get the opening rant out for this hour. So if y'all will allow me, let me get this break in here. We'll go to some of your phone calls, and I'll pause anytime we get a headline. Heard from Tommy over at Hueytown Pawn today. He let me know they've still got some of those ARs, the AR-12s that were so wildly popular. Y'all started buying them out so fast. The G-Force AR-12s are on sale for $279. Just a couple of them left. I was like, how many of those you got left? And then I got some good news. He's got another shipment. I think that he said they may be in tomorrow. He hasn't priced them and put them into their system yet. But he keeps his eye out for these lots, basically, of what we call law enforcement turn-ins. These are Glocks, typically, that have been previously owned by law enforcement agencies. They've got a program where they'll cycle through their guns, and a lot of these have never been fired. They're just part of the personal carry weapons that some LEs use. They go on sale in the aftermarket. Tommy goes and buys them up. I bought one of them last year from him. And nice gun, very nice gun. Looks like a brand new gun. I can't tell it's ever been shot. Incredible pricing on these, and they move fast every time he gets them. So he gave me a tip. He said they are in the wind. That was his quote on the way there. When they hit the ground and he gets a price on them and gets them all ready to sell, I'm going to let y'all know. So be listening out for that in the coming days. And they will be, Hueytown Pawn will be at the Hoover Gun Show. They have a gun show over in the Finley Center. I think is it this weekend? And they will have a booth there. So just look for them. Or better yet, get over to Brook Lane Drive and go see them yourselves right there in the middle of Hueytown. You probably have a favorite gun store. I get that, but try this pawn shop. I think you'll add them to your mix when you're comparison shopping, especially once you get to know Tommy and how cool he is to know. Hueytown Pawn, Brook Lane Drive. Hueytown Pawn back here in just a minute. All right, it's 427. I'll tell you what, let's just get on to the phones. Kyle's over here on line 2. What you got, Kyle? What do you know, man?
Hey, what's up, Leland? I'll be quick. The big thing I wanted to say is that today's my mom's 80th birthday, and she's a big fan of you and AJ.
Well, happy birthday, Mama, Kyle's mama.
That's right. She asked if I was getting her a gift. I was like, Mom, I am the greatest gift that you've ever.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, she knows your line. You better buy her something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she also the last time she hit me was because she had listened to us on the show, and I came home and she hit me upside the head. She says, "Don't you ever talk when Leland or AJ are talking. Do you understand?
Really now? Yeah.
You let them speak." I was like, wow, thanks, Mom. But real quickly, how awesome was it that all of the 32 people that Trump endorsed in the primaries, they all won?
Yeah, he's got a good winning streak, and that's only grown as his popularity both with the party and even on the generic ballot. It's growing. I started the show talking about success breeding success. And that's what's working in this military mission so far. Everything's going so well. More and more people are getting on board with it. So, yeah, and that's true in the elections as well.
So, but I'm excited. But thank you, and she loves you guys, and I will tell her on behalf of y'all happy birthday, and y'all have a good one.
That's the way to do it, Kyle. Okay, man, I should have got Mama Kyle's name, but I didn't do it. I'm slack, AJ. I just slacked out on everybody. All right. Thank you, Kyle. All right, we'll get back to the phone calls. We still got developing news. Still looking at this this explosion story. What was that? Out of New Jersey a little while earlier. I was waiting on an update of that. It looks like a chemical plant situation, not a terror threat or anything like that. Y'all, Crocker Moving Services is up next. That's Eric Crocker's company. If you got any kind of moving going on in the future or next week or whenever, big or small, this is your company. There's just no doubt once you meet Eric and his team or have these guys over, you'll know what I mean. Solid, just to the bone, good people. They show up on time, get it done. 2-hour minimum is my favorite part of their story. They can scale their services down to just one big old thing if that's all you need. It's CrockerMovingServices.com, CrockerMovingServices.com. Y'all reach out to them and let them get your stuff done. Don't pull your back out and strain your friendships trying to get people to help you move. Let the pros do it. CrockerMovingServices.com. We'll be back here in just a minute. Leland Live. All right, y'all. Leland live talking to NM5 Ox Foundation Solutions, bringing you the show this hour as well. This is my foundation company. Now, I get it. Some of you not even thinking about your foundation because you don't have problems, but some of you are not thinking about your foundations and you have problems. You just haven't looked in a while, and there's something going on down there that could really cost you a bundle if you let it keep going. So to be a smart homeowner, we got to do, I was talking early in the show, I've been out doing some spring cleaning and maintenance on the house and just stuff I do every single year, getting ready to fight carpenter bees, and there's always stuff. One of those things is I know every now and then you want your roof checked out, you want to get things done, but one of those things is to make sure you kind of do a 360 and look for any issues with your foundation. If you see a crack or a shift, you may already sense the house is a little wonky, something's not right. Don't fear it, because if you let it sit, it'll keep doing it. It'll keep moving. Let Ox come and take care of it. This is the full-fledged company that does all the services. I mean, they can level your house, remove the water, fix the cracks, make everything right, put the helical piers in. Then, of course, there's the awful stuff. You wind up with a mold issue, they can do mold remediation. And then, of course, the final step after that is encapsulation to keep that stuff from coming back. They do all of it, and that means, and a lot of times one of these problems causes the rest of them. So trust the pros, and that would be oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. Get them over to your house. If you got any questions or you have a problem with your foundation, it's oxstrong.com. All right, let me get Nate in here. We do have headlines coming at us, and we'll get those one at a time. I want to be fair to the callers because I think I have ranted about all I can rant this afternoon. Nate, what is on your mind tonight?
Yeah, I supported Trump in the 2020 elections, but he's slowly losing 2024 elections, slowly losing my support. He's promised no new wars, and it looks like we're kicking off a new one for the Israelis.
Well, how would you define war? I mean, I hear people say that, and I understand your position.
Dropping bombs.
Well, it's a military action, but is it a protracted war? This is not Iraq or Afghanistan, I don't think, and I think that's what he was talking about. Us getting stuck in some country.
I know it's expensive.
Nation building.
We don't got the money for it.
You know, it's less expensive than being threatened with the closing of the Strait of Hormuz or a nuclear bomb or having our people maimed and kidnapped. There's a price.
That's fear mongering. We were not in any threat from Iran. This is
100%. We've been in a threat from Iran for 46 years. You must have been on a different planet than me the last 46 years.
They've said it for 40-something years and nothing new's happened.
Dude, they were. Do you not know what these people have done to us? Do you know the terror attacks? Have you ever seen an Iraqi war veteran walk around with one leg? A lot of time.
I go through my day every single day.
No, I ask you a question.
I have never even thought about Iran. Most Americans couldn't even point it out on a map. So
I bet they
is
could.
All propaganda.
How old are you, Nate?
Trump is a liar. 34.
Okay, that says a lot right there. You didn't grow up in my generation of the Iranians coming to power.
He's only deported 300,000 illegals, and now you notice he's only calling it criminal illegals he's deporting.
Oh, it's anybody that's illegal. If you get caught up in a raid, you're gone.
No, he's going after criminal illegals. They're using that lingo now because they're not saying illegals anymore.
Well, no, it's criminal illegals too. Yeah, they should be gone. Don't you think they should be gone?
We got to flip. We got to stop supporting these people who lie to us. It's time for us to wake up. These people we're going into another war for Israel. And
Let me ask you this, Nate. What about the estimated, and it's estimated, we can't verify it. What about the 40,000 people the mullahs in Iran killed in their own streets that are trying to fight for their own freedom, that want their country back, that could create a breakout of peace with Arab nations and the rest of that region if those mullahs were out of power? No, I ask you a question.
Pygmies in New Guinea.
I ask you, there are no pygmies that I know of in Iran. We're not bombing New Guinea.
We are broke. We don't have the money to fix these people's problems.
What would you be doing?
What
would you be doing right? What would you be doing right now if you were President Nate?
If we're going to go to war, let's go to war. I'd close the border down. I'd stop letting brown people in.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Brown people. You would have a color test. Would you use a paper bag or a can of coffee? Which color brown would you ban?
Any from a third world country.
And that would be which countries?
Mexico,
I take
India.
it, based on your thoughts, I take it, Nate, you would ban pygmies from New Guinea for sure.
Well, you're the one that's worried about people halfway around the world, not me. I don't.
I
Really
am.
care
I
what's
very
going on
much
in
am.
Iran.
Well, you don't care, and I'll care, and we'll see who's right. Okay. Call me back in about a month, and we'll see where we are. Thanks,
We're
Nate.
good.
I guess Nate doesn't use gas in his car. I guess he doesn't know anybody that fought in the Iraq or Afghanistan wars. Look, there's that mentality out there, and that's the easiest, in my opinion, intellectually laziest approach to this issue you can have. I've been called an isolationist because I don't want us involved in long-term, unending, pointless wars. This situation has a clear point. It has been clear to me my entire life, for the most part, all of my formative years, this country and what it does in the region. If he's ignorant of that, that's his problem, and he'll never be able to understand it because he's not well read and he's very young. He's the age of my sons. He hasn't lived much life. These kids have experienced a lot. They went through 9/11 when they were probably 9 or 10 years old, and they saw the dot-com bubble bust, and they saw the COVID thing happen to them. And I know a lot of your attention when you've gone through those things are inward. But the real world is what it is, and we might as well. Would you just? I should have kept Nate on. Would we just get rid of the military altogether? What's the point of having one? And I don't believe we should be adventurous. There is a truth in between isolationism and sort of the George Bush neocon doctrine of involving ourselves unnecessarily and for a long term in these endless, expensive wars. I do agree with that general position. But I'm going to quote Senator Kennedy again on this subject, and I'll stick with this for a little while. I think it was a great quote. Senator Kennedy said, some people want to play Socrates while we're in the middle of a bar fight. You ever have a friend like that, AJ, that just sits around, they're just deep all the time, but then some crap goes down, they're the first people to run out the back door, and then somebody else has to do the fighting, or they run their damn mouths, but then something goes down. I'll say this, if there were, I used this sort of domestic example the other day, if there were, say, some innocent people in a parking lot being beaten down by some armed thugs, you were the only person that had a gun, would you just walk away and say it's not my business? Because he didn't answer my question about the oppression of those people in Iran who want their country back. He's probably not capable or experienced enough to calculate how different the whole world gets. It's not just Israel. The whole world gets a lot more peaceful very quickly if this state sponsor of terror is off the map. Not the country, not the people, that government. Those mullahs, those end-time fatalistic doom people who've been trying to destroy and murder and maim for years, and it has directly affected us. They tried to kill Trump. By the way, the guy that organized that operation just got smoked yesterday. They attempted a hit on Trump and it got interdicted. That wasn't even the ones that happened at Butler and down at Mar-a-Lago or down at the golf course. I can go on and list things that they were connected to. The Khobar Towers, they were connected to that. They were connected to other terrorism raids over the years. And every time we treat it like a police action and just ignore it, and then they continue to work and develop an ability to threaten the whole planet with a nuclear weapon. Is Nate under the impression they weren't trying to get a nuclear weapon? And if you know who they are, they can never have a nuclear weapon. The whole world agrees on that. By the way, the other Arab countries disagree with Nate too. They're in on it. They've got their militaries amped up. They're taking votes to go in and assist. That whole region wants this pariah off that map over there, and they want peace. They want to live productive lives. All of them, even some radical nations that themselves have checkered history and weird people, they're scared to death of these crazy ass mullahs because they are suicidal. They are end times fatalistic, suicidal people, and they should not have been. Look, the truth is we should have done this 20 years ago, but we haven't had an opportunity to do it with a president that had the courage to do it. And we're doing it so effectively and so quickly and so thoroughly that it's the dividends. You talk about the money of it. It'll be expensive for damn sure. But the return on investment of this operation will help us for generations. In energy independence alone, you could measure it in energy. And if just keeping the Strait of Hormuz from not being consistently threatened by these people in the Persian Gulf or the Gulf of Oman will change the world map. That makes the price of everything cheaper. Just that alone, just that threat alone, taking that threat alone, forget the nuclear weapons and everything else that goes with it. Look, I get Nate's approach, despite the racist comments, but everybody's got a right to be ignorant. I can't help it. I try every day for 4 hours, but some people just going to stay that way. Here's Jason on line 1. What's up, Jason?
Hey, this is something to do with racism, but if you remember back when Obama was president, he gave how many billions of dollars to the Iranian nation to start their nuclear program? Okay. We funded their nuclear program to start it up, correct?
Well, it wasn't. No, they were already pursuing nukes. They've been pursuing nukes.
Obama gave them almost $150 billion.
Well, this is where you're wrong, and you're right, and you're wrong. Okay.
How am I wrong?
Oh, I'm trying to explain it to you. You got to listen, okay? He did. He flew them plane loads of cash, but it wasn't the effect.
Cash money out of our Social Security.
On pallets, yes. Well, here's where.
Out of our Social Security.
Jason, you got 2 ears and one mouth, and if you'd stop and listen, I'll get you straight, because you're partially correct. But the money wasn't to start their nuclear program, but they used it. They used it also to fund Hamas.
It was part of Obama's nuclear deal with Iran.
Yes, but what I'm saying is they already had a nuclear program. He didn't.
So why would we give money to a nation that's been preaching death to America and death to Israel?
No, we shouldn't have.
$150 billion cash, and then that same people, Biden, which is a follow-up of Obama, opened our borders and let untold numbers, I'm not saying brown people, untold numbers of possible people that could be single-celled terrorists.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That happened.
Come in, and then we start this war. This is a war. It's every bit of a war. This is a war. We need to stop calling it a